the mayor of Dallas, Texas, and the chairman and president of the RMA, that's the Republican Mayors Association, Eric Johnson, joining us here on the Chad Hasty Show. Mayor, welcome to the show. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great, Chad. How are you?
I'm doing great, and it's great to talk to you again. The last time you and I spoke was at Trib Fest, literally minutes before you announced that you were becoming a Republican. And so it's great to have you on the show, and hopefully we won't have any more, you're not going to be switching back anytime soon, right?
Definitely not going to be switching back, but I was going to ask you if you remember the fact that, this will never change now. You will be forever linked with me, for better or for worse, in American political history, because you are the last interview I ever gave as a Democrat.
I know. And even during the time, I was like, something doesn't seem right here. There's something going on. I just knew it. And but that's a nice little piece of history.
You'll be the answer to a trivia question for many years.
I love it.
You were the last journalist to interview me as a Democrat. So congratulations.
Well, I love it. I think that's great. Well, tell folks a little bit, before we get to everything going on with the Republican Mayors Association, just how has it been, since you announced, hey, I'm switching parties. How's everything been going as far as that announcement and how it's been since?
Well, Republicans have been wonderful, have been great. The party's been great. The grassroots have been great. It's just been an incredible experience so far, being a member of the Republican Party. And on the Democratic side, I'd say reasonable Democrats sort of understood and kind of saw this coming. They could see, the progressively more distance and the issues I was having with the party were getting worse, not better. So reasonable Democrats actually took the news pretty well. It's that fanatical, far left, extreme, woke, kind of crazy part of the Democratic Party that drove me out in the first place that, is all up in arms and saying and doing crazy things, which is kind of predictable and kind of, something I expected. So I'd say, interestingly enough, the overwhelming majority of people are like, well, that's who he is. He's a conservative guy, and he's in the party now where you can actually be conservative. There is no more conservative wing of the Democratic Party. I was it for the most part in my mind. In Texas, it's just gone.
Yeah.
And so there you have it.
All right. Well, very good. Well, tell us about some new things that are happening within the Republican Mayors Association and some of the goals that you have for this upcoming year.
Well, we just had a board meeting at the end of 2023 where we added some folks to not only the board, but we announced our first members of the advisory board, which are all mayors from around the country who are current Republican mayors. So the chair of the advisory board is going to be is at this point, the mayor of McAllen, Texas. Javier Villalobos is a great guy, very, very good mayor, very well liked down there, doing a great job. He's a Republican, the first Republican mayor of McAllen in over a century. So he's doing a great job. He's chairing the advisory board. And then we added some great people to the national board. So the former mayor of San Diego, Republican mayor Kevin Faulconer, is on the national board. We've got the immediate past co-chair of the Republican National Committee is on the board. We've got the current chair of the Wisconsin Republican Party on the board. So we've got some real heavy hitters on the board. We've got a great chair of the advisory board, and we're ready to get going.
So how do we get more Republican mayors elected, not only throughout Texas, but this is obviously nationwide? How do we go about doing that?
Yeah, we are talking to mayors from coast to coast who have figured out how to get elected in our cities, to have them join this organization so we can get more. We need more Republican mayors, and I've been very clear about that. I talked about that in the Wall Street Journal. I could go on and on and on about that, but let me tell you about specifically the mission of the Republican Mayors Association. It's to be a voice for our incumbent Republican mayors, like the existing ones. We really don't have an organization that's there to amplify our successes, which are many. We're doing a great job. Republican mayors are doing a great job across this country of keeping taxes low, keeping communities safe, making sure that people are the focal point of our lives and not government. I mean, we really are doing a good job, but no one's telling that story for us. We don't have a Republican. We didn't before we had the Republican Mayors Association have an organization like the Republican Governors Association or anything like that. So the goal of the organization is to be an advocate for and a mouthpiece for our nation's Republican mayors, but it's also to elect more of us. There aren't enough of us. Of the top 100 cities in the country, maybe 30% or so are Republicans, and that's not good. And in the top 10, I am the only Republican mayor in the top 10 in the United States at this point, and we've got to change that. And the RMA is going to change that by actually helping folks who want to run for mayor as a Republican get organized and get the data that they need, the polling that they need, the communications help that they need, find the best consultants in the country, and we're going to start winning races. We're going to start competing in cities again, which is not something the Republican Party has done all that well over the past few years.
Well, I think it's such a great thing, and it's such a great idea because you see city council races, and let's just be honest here. I think there gets to a certain point where the population, the population of a city, they forget about their city council. They forget about their mayor. Yeah, every now and then they may pop up in the news, but so many people are focused on the White House and what's going on in the White House. And while that's important, as you know, Mr. Mayor, a lot of important things are passed or not passed by local city councils. And we've seen where in the past, Democrats have really focused on city councils, especially in our larger cities, to get things passed that, like the minimum wage increases and the fight against police officers and, against law enforcement. We've seen where Democrats have really been pushing that, and we haven't had that unified Republican voice in a lot of these major cities.
No, you're absolutely right about that. And one of the main things that the Republican Mayors Association is going to be focused on and talking about is public safety and keeping people safe, because the Republican Party has always been the more trusted party on that issue, and for a reason, because it's actually part of our core values. It's not a core value of the Democratic Party. It just isn't. In fact, when Democratic mayors do well on public safety, it's actually 100% of the time because they're acting like Republicans. They're actually doing things that Republicans advocate for and kind of going against their own party's orthodoxy on crime. So when Democratic mayors find themselves being successful, like I was as a Democrat, it's because I was doing things that Republicans have been advocating for years, which is why I switched. But the reality is this: Republican principles are the kinds of things that work really well at the local level, but Republicans just have not been in the arena fighting and offering themselves up as an option. And we're going to start doing that because the issues that really matter to folks, public safety is number one. And what's interesting is no matter what level you're talking about, national, federal, the White House, Congress, those folks, or at the state level, the state legislature, no matter what you're talking about, or local government, if you ask people the issue they care about the most, they always say public safety. They always say crime, no matter which level of government you're asking the question of, which is interesting because that issue is overwhelmingly dealt with at the local level. So you would think people would be more focused on who is their local leader, who their mayor is, who the city council is, who the district attorney is. And we just have not, as a party, done as great a job of making that argument to people. Where if your number one issue is public safety and crime, which it is, it's everyone's number one issue. It's the issue they're going to ask people running for president, people running for governor, people running for Congress are going to get that same question. But you know what? The president doesn't have anything to do with the safety on the streets of Lubbock. It's the mayor or the streets of San Antonio or Austin or Houston or Dallas, where I'm the mayor. It's the mayor and the city council and the DA that's got to get that figured out, and that's why we need more Republican mayors.
Mayor Eric Johnson, the chairman and president of the Republican Mayors Association. Tell folks where they can get more information about the work you're doing and the work of the Republican Mayors Association.
You can go to www.gopmayors.org, or you can go on X, and we are GOP Mayors ASSN, which is short for association. That's our X handle. But I'd say check out the website, and you'll be able to find about our leadership team and about our plans for the future. So we're very excited.
We're very, very good, and always glad to have you, Mayor, and let's do this again soon.
All right. Thanks so much, Chad.
Thank you. That's Mayor Eric Johnson, the mayor of Dallas, Texas, also chairman and president of the Republican Mayors Association, here on the Chad HD Show.